Okay guys, hello, welcome to this video for a cheap and cheerful pizza sauce. Very cheap. This will give you two of those takeaway trays full of pizza sauce, so you're looking at maybe 4 or 5 pizzas worth of sauce. Cheap ingredients, we'll go through what it is, and then at the end of the video we've got just a plain sheet pan pizza in a baking tray. So we'll go through that as well. So let's get started. Okay, just a normal frying pan here. Bit of olive oil, any kind. You can use whatever oil you generally use, really. Again, tip on this: do not wear a white t-shirt when you're making this sauce. It gets absolutely ruined. I should have thought about that at the time, but you live and learn, eh? Okay, so just put that in the pan, let it heat up for a bit, and then simply just a couple of tins of Italian chopped tomatoes, any kind of chopped tomatoes really. These ones were out of Morrison's. And then some passata sauce, Italian sauce. Again, I think they're about 35-39 pence each. Some Italian seasoning. And then basically in here we've got some cayenne pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper and salt. And that's it. This is a vegan free channel, vegan free pizzas. The only vegetable type thing that will ever be on any of my pizzas will be the tomatoes and the tomato sauce. Generally everything is some form of meat or just a plain cheese pizza, but I tend not to put a lot of vegetable type stuff on my pizzas. Right, so 2 tins, grand total of about 70 pence there, and then had a half a carton of this stuff. If you don't like the lumpy sauce with the tomato chunks in it, you can just use the passata sauce. I just put that in there just to make it a bit sort of thicker. So it's basically on the heat, bring it up to almost to the boiling point. You want to make sure it's nice and hot before you start adding any of your spices and things like that in. Again, sorry the video's a bit dark, but for some reason the additional light I had decided after charging for 6 hours it wasn't going to work, so I just have to bear with me on this. They're just heating up the chopped tomatoes. Again, you can use plum tomatoes, just the passata, whatever you prefer. If you don't like the lumpy sauce, I like to have it a bit chunky, so even that you could stick it in a blender and take some of the bigger chunks out. Okay, just skip forward here a bit. That's the sauce, nice and hot. It's just a teaspoon. It's basically all the spices are 2 teaspoons, with the exception of the pepper, which is just one. But again, you can change that to whatever you like. I do like a bit of spice in the sauce, so the 2 teaspoons of chili powder is more than enough for me, or cayenne pepper, sorry. And then just 3 teaspoons here, 3 teaspoons, sorry, of Italian spices or Italian seasoning. As soon as you put that on, it starts to smell like a good pizza sauce anyway. So far we've spent a grand total of about £1.10, or £1 on the chopped tomatoes and the passata. Again, most people have these sort of spices in the house anyway, so just chuck them all in. and then give it a good mix up. Again, let it sit there on the boil, high temperature. It will start to thicken up when it's on the heat. So just we add no spices now, and it starts to smell like a real sort of pizza sauce, Italian sauce. Again, once you're happy it's all thoroughly mixed, you can drop the temperature down to a simmer, and then stick your lid on the pan and just let it simmer away. So excuse my big sausage fingers, but that's basically saying 10 minutes. Leave it simmering for 10 minutes. So this is 10 minutes later, sitting there bubbling away. Just watch when you take this off, because there will be a lot of steam in there. Trying to sort of cover the camera here so the lens doesn't get steamed up. As you can see, it started to thicken up already. Again, depending on how thick you want it, you just leave it a bit longer. Leave it an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you'll get a thick sort of pasty sauce. But this is fine for me. And then obviously the taste test. And again, just to make sure. And I must admit, it was very, very nice. You know, for the sake of £1 and some spices, you've got enough sauce there for a multitude of pizzas. Okay, so basically onto the pizza. This is just a bog standard pizza dough from Morrison's or Asda. That's about £1. And that's a 14x9 tray. The dough generally covers the tray anyway when you roll it out. But what you want to do with any of these sheet pan pizzas is put loads and loads of olive oil in the base. You're basically cooking it in oil. You can't really put these doughs straight onto a rack. They've got to be put on some sort of tray. So this looks like a lot, but it's not really. By the time you move it around, covering the whole tray, and then put your pizza dough in on top, it's not really that much. A lot of it will cook off because of the temperature. Your oven should be about 220, 230 for cooking these. It takes about 15 minutes. So you basically just unroll your dough. Stick it in the pan, and then just pull the paper off. And it's practically the size of the pan anyway by the time you roll it out. So basically what you can do here is just stretch out a bit further. You can stretch up the sides. Obviously the thinner you make it, the more crispy the base is going to get. You won't have the same airiness you would get in a normal dough. These are just quick, simple doughs, really. You don't get a fluffy pizza, you get a sort of crispy, crusty type pizza because the base is so thin. So once you've got it in a tray, you can leave it in there for a few minutes because it might shrink back on itself, and then you can stretch it back out again. So basically here's our pasta sauce we've just made. So you get 2 of these trays just from doing that sauce. I think I used about half the tray on this pizza here. Again, it's a 14x9 pan, so you'll easily feed 2-3 people out of this, maybe even more, depending on the toppings and that, and how filling you make it. This was just some bits and pieces I had lying around anyway. The dough was in the fridge for a while. It was getting ready to go out of date, so I thought I'd make a little video on just how cheaply you can make a pizza at home. So far we're sitting at about, we'll call it £1.50 for your sauce and your spices, £1 for your pizza dough, and then just whatever cheese. I like using a strong cheddar cheese. I will put mozzarella on my pizzas if I'm making it in the pizza oven, but I'm just cooking this in the normal oven at the minute. See, the pizza oven will be getting used more as the weather comes in, so stand by for more videos with that. This is just some pulled pork that I'd made in the pizza oven as well, so it's just, I'm getting rid of anything that's been sitting around in the freezer. Stick it straight on there. Now, one thing I will say about the sauce, using the tomatoes, I see a lot of people going on about San Marzano tomatoes, and personally, it's like flour, the flour you use to make your pizza dough, 00, plain flour, bread flour. Personally, I can't tell the difference. That might just be me, but I can't tell the difference, so I'll go for the cheapest flour I can get, whether it's plain flour or bread flour. Same with tomatoes. San Marzano, Asda's 30p a tin, Morrison's 35p a tin. Personally, I can't taste any difference. If you're making your own sauce, you make it taste how you want it to taste. This is just some strong cheddar cheese here. I like putting some cheese on the top of the sauce so that it binds the toppings on. I think it's about 150 grams here. Again, I think this was actually cheese I bought at the Oops counter for about 50p. I might be tight, but I like getting a good bargain, especially when it comes to pizzas. So total price so far for this pizza is maybe £2.50. Most people have cheese in the house, so the only things you're actually buying are at £2.50 at the minute. Stick some oregano, or whatever way you want to pronounce it. And then this is something else I bought. This is another £1 here for spicy chorizo, so that will take us up to about £2.50. We'll call it £4. This stuff is quite strong, this spicy chorizo, but it tasted absolutely beautiful. See, barbecue pulled pork and spicy chorizo with strong cheddar cheese might not be everybody's taste, but the good thing about pizza, you make it whatever way you want. And doing these sheet pan things, it's so easy to divide it into quarters. You know, if you've got people that don't like specific kinds. Now, unfortunately, at that point, my battery went, and I didn't realise it went, so this is basically the pizza here when it came out. Nice and crispy chorizo. Those bits there aren't burnt for anybody that thinks they're burnt. That's just the barbecue pulled pork coming through the cheese when the cheese is melted. As you can see, it's really crusty around the edge. Usually I try and put the cheese right up so you get a burnt cheese edge all the way around there. But yeah, it took 15 minutes in the oven at 230 degrees. And to tell you the truth, it was so fantastic. And for the sake of £4, you could easily feed 2 or 3 people with that. Plus you've made your own sauce, and you've got enough sauce left for another few pizzas. So it does work out quite well. So there we go. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video. I've got loads of other stuff planned. So I'm cleaning out my pizza oven and that at the minute. Obviously I've not been using it a lot over winter, so it needs a good clean out. A couple of fires just to dry it out, and then I'll be back cooking pizzas, pulled pork, chicken, anything else that I can squeeze in there. So Stay tuned if you're into that sort of thing, and we'll try and get some more content coming up. Okay, everyone. Thanks a lot. See you next time.